Int Camp Hadrian, Strategic Operations Training Wing. Day. The room was thick with tension, not from battle, but from boredom. 27 of the military's best gathered around a holographic map flickering on the wall. All male, all ranked, all restless. And then the door opened. A civilian stepped in. Female, slender, unarmed, no uniform, no insignia, no introduction. She carried a clipboard. That was it. "Who's the secretary?" Someone chuckled. No one corrected him. She said nothing, just took the empty chair in the back, folded her legs, opened the clipboard, began to write. Major Darnell raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me," he said, half laughing, half bewildered. "I believe you're in the wrong room. This is restricted training." No response. "Name?" he barked. She paused, looked up slowly. Her eyes were dark, not defiant, not afraid, just measuring. Then she returned to her notes. Major Darnell flushed. The room shifted uncomfortably. One of the junior officers muttered under his breath, "Probably some pencil pusher from intelligence. Come to observe how real soldiers operate." She didn't flinch. Captain Rayner leaned forward from the front row. "Ma'am, if you're here to audit the course, we'll be sure to dumb it down for you." Laughter, sharp, ugly. Still, she wrote. Some began placing bets. How long before she cries? 10 minutes. She's not blinking. What is she, autistic? Maybe she's one of those AI ghost analysts. Doesn't talk, just stares and writes. The jokes kept coming. Her pen kept moving. They didn't know her name. And that, by design, was the point. End mess hall. Lunch. She sat alone. Not out of choice. No one joined her. Tray untouched. Clipboard beside her. Head down. The others whispered as they passed. "Looks like she's writing a diary entry, not debrief notes." Probably here to make sure we're politically correct. Or someone's niece. Only one person dared approach. Sergeant Callum, youngest in the unit, naive enough to think kindness wasn't a risk. He placed his tray beside her. "Mind if I sit?" She looked up, met his eyes. Callum smiled. Nervous. "They don't mean anything by it. They're just high-strung. Training's been rough. Ignore them." She said nothing, just watched him. Then finally she spoke. One word. "Why?" Callum blinked. "Why what?" Why do they fear what they don't understand? The tone was soft, measured, too calm for someone under ridicule. Callum froze. "I don't think they fear you, ma'am." "No," she said, eyes returning to her clipboard. "Not yet." Int Tactical Simulation Room, 3 days later. It was supposed to be a dry run. A routine hostage rescue simulation inside the compound. A test of how quickly a squad could secure hostiles and extract a VIP. Cameras watched from every angle. Instructors monitored from the control booth. The squad fumbled, moved too loud, breached too early. The VIP died 4 times in an hour. Frustration built. Major Darnell slammed the table. "You're thinking like war fighters, not like hunters." Behind him she stood, still silent, clipboard in hand. He turned. "Oh, now you have something to say?" She didn't respond. Instead, she stepped forward, slow, deliberate, and pointed to the map display. 4 red markers, hostile movement, a blind corner. Then she pointed again. 2 exits, 1 hidden. The team stared. "No rank," Darnell scoffed. "No authority." But something in her gaze silenced the room. She didn't ask. She commanded. "Split the squad. 3-man decoy south corridor. 2 stack here. Breach from the laundry duct." The instructor raised a brow. "That duct's only 18 inches wide. No one's used it in years." She nodded once, which is why they won't expect it. And before anyone could protest, She was gone, walking out the door without waiting for validation. The team followed. Why, even they didn't know. But something about her voice, the certainty, made argument feel irrelevant. In simulation building 10 minutes later, the scenario began. Within 60 seconds, the decoy team pulled fire. Within 3 minutes, the laundry duck team breached the panic room. And for the first time in 2 weeks of drills, the VIP was extracted alive. Not a single man was lost. Silence in the observation booth. Then, "Who the hell is she?" Major Darnell didn't answer. He was too busy watching the woman, still scribbling quietly into her clipboard as if nothing had happened. End briefing room. That night, word spread. She planned that op in 90 seconds. Didn't touch a gun. Didn't even sweat. Some called it luck. Others called it a fluke. But some started watching her differently. Major Darnell paced in the shadows. He hadn't spoken to her since the simulation. Not directly. She was seated again. Same chair, same pen, same stare. Finally, he stopped in front of her. "Who trained you?" She didn't look up. He leaned closer. That was Delta-level maneuvering. Top 2% of the goddamn Pentagon. You don't get that from reading memos. "Still," she wrote. He snapped. "Answer me." This time, she did. But not to him. "To the room. To command a unit," she said, rising. "You must first understand its blindness. Ego is your greatest liability, and right now, this unit is blind." She handed him the clipboard. He hesitated. "Read the top page." His hand stopped. Every weakness, every pattern, every flaw in the past 5 operations, dissected in surgical, unflinching clarity. Initials at the bottom, AL. He looked up. She was already gone. And secure communications room. Later that night. Only one person was waiting for her. A woman in a grey uniform, no markings, behind a frosted glass screen. "You broke cover." "I had to. HQ is asking questions." "Let them ask. Are they ready?" She paused. "They will be." The screen went dark. She returned to her clipboard. This time, she added a name. Aurelia Locke, Strategic Advisor, Tier 0 Operations, Black File Status, No Rank Required. Anti-Camp Hadrian, War Room, 0600 hours. They arrived earlier than usual. Major Darnell, Captain Rayner, Lieutenant Holden, even Sergeant Callum, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Aurelia was already there, sitting, watching a screen filled with lines of intercepted chatter. Colored dots blinked across a digital map of the Baltics. No one spoke to her. But no one laughed either. Darnell cleared his throat. "You said we're blind. Prove it." Aurelia didn't turn. She just clicked the screen. Satellite feed. A convoy. Eastern Ridge. Civilian vehicles. Armed men hidden beneath tarps. "Tell me what you see," she said. "Insurgent transport," Rayner replied. "Wrong." She zoomed in. Highlighted tire tracks, scrape marks on the ground, the reflection off a poorly concealed lens. "This isn't a transport, it's bait. They want us to engage." "How do you know?" Holden challenged. Aurelia answered by pulling up a second feed. A sniper nest, west elevation, thermals off by 0.4 degrees, she added calmly. "They have a kill box ready. We walk into that ambush. We lose everyone." Darnell stiffened. Rayner muttered a curse. Callum just stared at the map, wide-eyed. "You saw that? From this? From the shadows?" Aurelia whispered. Then she stood, folded her notes, and walked out. Not a single man moved until she was gone. Int barracks. That night, the whispers changed tone. "She's not a civilian. She's a ghost op." "Hoi, ChatGPT." End barracks. That night, the whispers changed tone. "She's not a civilian. She's a ghost op. No file, no rank, No clearance logs. Then who the hell is she? Speculation circled like vultures. Some swore she was CIA. Others that she was part of the disbanded Tier 0 units, the rumored war architects. The ones who planned the operations so secret even the task force commanders weren't cleared to know who authored them. But with no uniform, no nameplate, and no record on the base manifest, she remained, in the official log, just a strategic observer. A ghost among soldiers. Darnell paced outside the barracks, gripping his tablet tight. Inside were memos from upper command. Vague references to internal evaluations and experimental integrations. No author, no signature, and a list of top-secret operations, each stamped successful, each tagged AL. Int Field Tactics Simulation, Day 7. It was supposed to be a training exercise. The squad was dropped into a simulated combat zone. Forested terrain, known for its poor visibility and complex elevation. The mission was simple: extract a hostage, neutralize threats, return to base. Aurelia said nothing during briefing, but as they geared up, Darnell turned to her. "You planning to critique us after we fail, or are you going to say something before we bleed?" A beat. She looked at the terrain overlay, tilted her head, then softly. "Your extraction point is a trap. Reverse the entry route. Cut through the wetland." Rayner scoffed. "You serious? That marsh is unstable and will sink." But she held up a thermal satellite shot. Dated 1 hour ago. Enemy teams already encircle the planned route. Their snipers are positioned to shepherd you into the kill zone. Darnell took the map from her, scanned it. Silent. He looked to his men, nodded. "Follow her route," the simulation began. "Int command room 27 minutes later." They watched in stunned silence. What should have taken 90 minutes was executed in under 30. Every threat neutralized, no missteps, no radio delays. Even the drone operator called it. It was like they knew what was coming before it happened. And Aurelia? She just closed her tablet, stood up, and walked out. Didn't wait for applause. Didn't ask for credit. Into the debriefing room that evening. The unit sat around in silence. Darnell finally spoke. "She's not a field officer. She doesn't hold rank, but she sees the whole goddamn board before any of us make a move." Captain Rayner, once the loudest skeptic, leaned back in his chair. "I've worked Black Ops, PsyOps, Joint Counter-Terror, and I've never seen anyone dissect battlefield behavior like she does. It's like she plays chess while the rest of us are throwing rocks. Still doesn't explain why she's here." Holden muttered. Callum cleared his throat. "Maybe she's not here for us. Maybe we're here for her." They fell silent again. A name passed between them for the first time. Aurelia Locke. NT Base Gym, midnight. Callum found her alone, shadowboxing in the dark. No music, no lights, just silence and the sound of her breath. He stepped in slowly. "That reverse marsh route. You've run that op before, haven't you?" She didn't stop moving. Callum tried again. "How many teams have you saved?" At last she turned to face him. "None," she said. "I just made sure fewer were lost." A pause. Then, softly, she added, 9 deployments, 0 public credit, 0 command. But when the dust clears, someone still has to live with every call." He looked at her, not with suspicion, not with awe, but with something deeper. Respect, a quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need medals. "Int Base Command, early morning." Alarms rang. Not simulated. Real! An inbound vehicle breached perimeter protocol. Civilian transport, no ID, no radio signal. A drone feed showed men with vests. One held something in his hand. It wasn't a phone. It was a dead man's tag. The camp scrambled. Sirens, shouting, weapons cocked. Aurelia walked calmly into the control room, saw the screen, and without waiting, pressed the intercom button. "All units, stand down. Lock outer perimeter only." The commanding officer glared. "You don't give orders here." But Aurelia didn't move. She zoomed into the feed. There was a second man in the back. He was blinking in Morse code. ALP, a hostage. This wasn't an attack. It was a message. "Get me a negotiation channel. Now," she ordered. And someone obeyed. Into war room, 12 minutes later. They patched through audio. The voice on the other end was shaky. Desperate. Not a trained operator. "We have your soldier. We don't want to die. But they'll kill us if we don't make this look real. Please." The camp stared. Aurelia picked up the line. "This is Aurelia Locke," she said. "Who?" "You don't need to know who I am. You just need to listen carefully." She lowered her voice. Calm, unyielding. "I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to get you out of this alive. But if you twitch wrong, if you hesitate even once, the men here won't wait for permission. They'll turn your van into a crater." Silence. "I want the hostage. You want extraction. Let's both go home." The line crackled. "You swear?" Aurelia's voice did not shake. "I don't swear, I deliver." Int base perimeter, 30 minutes later. The gates opened. The van pulled in slowly, and out walked 3 men, unarmed, hands shaking. One hostage, eyes red, knees buckling, and Aurelia stood waiting, arms behind her back, unarmed, calm, watching. The hostage ran to her, collapsed at her feet. Soldiers surged forward, guns raised, shouting. She lifted one hand, no more than a whisper of movement, and the entire squad froze, not out of fear, but trust. Then someone saluted her. The first, then another, then all. Even Darnell, even Rayner, and Aurelia Locke, still without rank, without a single badge on her chest, simply nodded. "NT, High Security Briefing Chamber, 500 hours. It was the kind of room where careers were made. Or ended. Dim overhead light. One screen, one chair, 3 generals behind mirrored glass. Aurelia Locke sat alone in the center. No uniform, no insignia. Just her clipboard. The doors opened. Darnell stepped in first. Behind him, Captain Rayner, Lieutenant Holden, and Sergeant Callum, all summoned without warning. Aurelia didn't look up. General Thorne's voice echoed from the speaker system. "Strategic Observer Aurelia Locke. You have operated within Camp Hadrian outside of Chain of Command protocol. You've advised live operations without clearance. Your identity is sealed under Black File Tier status. This is your chance to justify your existence." The silence held. Then she spoke. Not loudly, not defensively, but like a scalpel sliding into soft flesh. "My existence doesn't need justification. Your war does." The general stiffened behind the glass. "Every unit you've deployed from this camp has failed 3 of the last 5 critical simulations. Your officers think in commands, not consequences. In action, not aftermath. That's why I was sent." She raised her eyes for the first time. And the temperature in the room seemed to drop. "You brought me here to observe." "I did. And what I observed was a structure built on ego, not readiness." Darnell flinched. Rayner clenched his jaw, but neither spoke. She slid her clipboard forward. "You want proof? 9 dossiers, 9 successful black-level operations, all coordinated under my advisement. No medals, no mentions. But every unit came home, and I stayed nameless because it kept them alive." Behind the glass, one of the generals muttered, "She's quoting Op Cobalt and Ember Rift. That's Tier 0 access." Another whispered, "She wrote Ember Rift. My God." The speaker crackled again. "Then why now, Aurelia? Why break cover?" She looked at Darnell. Then Callum. Because this unit is worth saving. XT Camp Hadrian, Sunrise. Word had spread. Not through rumors, not through drama, but through silence. The kind of silence that fills a place when every man starts seeing things they'd once missed. In the past, they mocked her for being silent. Now they imitated it, listening more, talking less. In the past, they ridiculed her lack of rank. Now they deferred to her without needing stripes. Training drills were sharper. Reaction times cut in half. Even Holden, once proud and dismissive, began reviewing old maps, trying to see the board as she did. Ent hangar, 2 days later, a new directive arrived. Urgent deployment. Real threat. No time to rotate out. Joint ops with a civilian contractor embedded. Code clearance. Raven null. The soldiers looked at each other. No one needed to ask. Aurelia was going with them. But this time, she wasn't following. She was leading. Still no rank, no salute required. Yet every man stood when she entered the hangar. Callum handed her his sidearm. Just in case. She smiled, for the first time. I don't fire the last shot, Sergeant. I design the moment where the enemy doesn't get to fire at all. Int deployment zone, night operation. The terrain was ugly. Dense infrastructure, maze-like corridors, dozens of blind spots. But she had already mapped it. From memory, the unit followed her routes. Every turn they made was unblocked. Every enemy squad encountered collapsed into chaos as if they'd been predicted. Darnell, now at her side instead of above her, whispered, How did you see all this coming? She answered without slowing. Because I've played this game with the same opponent for 6 years. He switches pawns. I memorize hands. And then she turned left, just before the sniper's trigger was pulled. They took the shooter alive. A rare thing. A planned thing. Int enemy holding cell. 0430 hours. Aurelia walked in alone. The captured sniper didn't speak until she placed a folder on the table. His eyes narrowed. Inside were files he thought didn't exist. Records of his past missions, his failures, his patterns. His eyes flicked up to her. Who are you? She leaned in, voice low. I'm the consequence. Then she left, without asking anything, because she didn't need to. XT airstrip, dawn. The unit disembarked from the transport with bruises, sweat, and success. Mission complete. 0 fatalities. Strategic dismantling. Interrogation success. Infrastructure neutralized. It was perfect. Too perfect. A Pentagon official watched from a distance and whispered to a colonel. This is what Tier 0 was supposed to be. Back on the tarmac, the men gathered quietly around her. They didn't speak, just stood with her, waiting until Captain Rayner, voice steady, finally broke the silence. We'd follow you again, if you ever came back. She nodded, eyes soft now. I'm not meant to stay. Callum asked, So what are you meant for? She looked beyond the sunrise. Voice even. I move before the danger appears, and disappear before anyone realizes who stopped it. Int Camp Hadrian, final night. The room was empty now. Her clipboard sat on the desk. For the first time, she left it behind. Darnell picked it up. Inside were pages of notes, not tactical diagrams, but observations about each of them. Holden's weakness for speed over accuracy. Rayner's tendency to overcorrect in high-pressure moments. Callum's hesitation and potential to lead with precision if given time. Then the final page, typed in neat, cold lines. Evaluation, Camp Hadrian Unit. Status, recalibrated, functional, capable of field leadership without external advisement. Recommendation, maintain cohesion. Leadership does not require command, only clarity. AL, Raven Null. XT remote military base, unknown location. 2 weeks later, Aurelia Locke steps off a transport. She wears no uniform, no badge, but men twice her size fall into quiet formation as she passes. A new unit, a new fault line in the world to preempt, another game to win before it begins. And as she walks into the shadows again, no rank required, no applause expected. Just the quiet gravity of a woman who does not need to be seen to command the battlefield.